Well, this is weird. IDW Publishing loses $1.28 million in the quarter. Now, I have a question. Like someone used to say, I have a question. Who could possibly have done this? And I have another question. Who the hell am I? Hi, everybody. This is the Comic Book Cut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, the Hut, and we are back here at the Comic Book Cut. As you know, I need you to subscribe, but more importantly, I need you to watch the entirety of this video to get the 4,000 viewed hours and to hope to make some couple of pennies and maybe get some nickels at some point. But I want to thank you for watching the first video of the 40th channel that I've created. And hopefully you'll continue to watch. I'll continue to do videos if you think it's funny, and hopefully we'll have some fun doing this at some point. So here's from ICV2.com. IDW Publishing loses $1.28 million in the quarter. Sales down, expenses up. IDW Publishing showed a loss of $1.28 million in its fiscal quarter 3, ending on July 31st, 2023. Lower sales coupled with higher expenses, a difficult combination. The loss was a big drop-off from the $595,000 loss in the year ago quarter, and from $200,000 loss in the most recent quarter. Oh boy. Geez, I wonder what changed in that quarter. I wonder what could have happened. Get to that at the middle of this video, I think. IDW Publishing sales of $6.25 million were down $300,000. It doesn't matter. Let's get the world of monkey crap here. Market revenue from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles last year's plus smaller increases in direct-to-consumer sales and book market allowances and returns. This is really bad. I mean, they really lost a lot of money. Printing costs were up in the quarter versus the previous year, $339,000, according to the report. We also note that it did not appear that expenses related to the major downsizing around the end of April did not appear to hit the operating statement in the previous quarter. So we're presumably reflected in the fiscal quarter 3 report. IDW Publishing sales were heavily concentrated in its direct market and book channel distributor Penguin Random House Publisher Services, which account for 72.7% of sales in the quarter. Scholastic was 15% of sales. There were virtually no sales in IDW Media Holdings' other division, IDW Entertainment, with no ongoing projects and no new options or other revenues due to the Hollywood strikes shutdown. IDW Media Holdings sales were $6.26 million, and the company-wide loss was $1.5 million for the quarter. Now, I would mention, I don't buy too much from IDW, but I hope that IDW does not go under in the next year or so, because I'd like to get the next volume, if there's another volume, of Walt Simon's Ragnarok. That I highly recommend that you buy that series, although the third volume, it's so great. The first 2 volumes, classic Walt Simonson, classic storytelling. But I don't understand. Can someone explain this to me? How did they lose so much money? Well, it's funny you should mention that. Well, from Bounding into Comics, headline. In the wake of failing stocks, and massive layoffs, IDW promotes Heather Antos and others. Well, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Now, this is an article written by my good friend, John De La Rosa, good guy on Time Books. He wrote this article about 4 months ago. 3 months ago. 4 months ago. I'll get it right. What the hell year is this? IDW announced a series of internal promotions since laying off nearly 40% of their workforce and delisting itself from the New York Stock Exchange. Comic fans are already scratching their heads at one of the promotions, that of Heather Antos, who will now run the company's entire licensing division. Oh, that's great. This lady is a dope. She is a dope. As for higher-level executives, the media holdings company announced Davidity Jonas as CEO and Joshua Frankel as CDO. Mark Doyle and Tara McCrillis have been promoted to co-publishers, with Amber Herrera as COO and Jamie S. Rich as editor-in-chief. Let's skip a little bit, shall we? Now, I would mention that, again, John has On Time Books. You want to back any book he puts on any of the different places and buy whatever he puts out. He puts out good stuff. And he loves comics. One of those strategies seems to be doubling down on woke activist Heather Antos by lifting her from senior editor of their Star Trek line to overseeing all of their licensed products. IDW has few creator-owned properties, so its publishing group thrives on its licensing. Well, not anymore there, John. Not anymore. Not anymore. Her editorial work has been criticized nearly her entire career in the comic book industry, beginning with Marvel Comics. After departing Marvel, she joined Valiant Comics, where her creative team hires completely undermined the comic lines from the highly regarded 2012 Superhero Universe relaunch. That was a company started by Jim Shooter. Her work led to formerly popular books like Exo Man of War being canceled in only 9 issues after its relaunch. She's got a great record, folks. She's got a great record, I gotta say. One of the best records in comics. Since joining IDW Publishing, her Star Trek editorial work has been riddled with continually edit errors, which have fans grumbling. More than that, cursing her out. Antos' promotion comes after IDW's licensing line took a huge hit. The company lost the rights to Transformers and G.I. Joe, which were bought by Robert Kirkman, which they had for 17 years. Both lines have lost fans because identity politics were injected into the stories. IDW was also losing the rights to Disney all ages child-friendly lines. These include several Marvel superheroes in simpler form, as well as the popular Star Wars adventures. This license is set to expire later this year. IDW is a mess. Though she has a crippled lineup of properties to work with, fans noticed that Antos updated a Twitter profile to brag about her new promotion. The profile now says, Group Editor, Licensing at IDW on Star Trek, Sonic, and more. She is, her purpose in the industry is to destroy it. She has been hired within the industry by communists and Satanists, and she has a purpose. The purpose is to go into these companies and basically destroy it and basically make them unprofitable. And she's meant to do this. She has no problem doing it, and she's living it up. I mentioned the word Satanist. We know that there are Satanists in the comic book industry. We know that Donny Cates is a big Satanist. He's still around. I haven't done a video on him in a long time, but he's a Satanist, and so is his wife. So they believe in this stuff. So, and I would think that Alan Moore, that goofball, somebody's you talk about somebody needs a makeover. Is Alan Moore still has the same beard and the hair? Get a haircut. Ain't the 60s, man. Come on. Maybe we can continue on. Her quick proclamation of her success seems a slight to the IDW employees who lost their jobs a week ago, when Antos made no public statement. She has also been gloating about buying a new home in recent weeks, stating how much money she is making now compared to when she was at Marvel. An odd choice while the company she works for is in such peril and her colleagues are losing their employment. Also understand that she's been on Instagram posting a lot of pictures of herself going to all these different weddings. So she likes to spike the football when she gets these promotions, because she is doing what she was really hard to do. And that's destroy. She did some number on Marvel. The biggest thing at Marvel, everyone knows the whole thing with the milkshake nonsense and how she couldn't remember when her books were going out. She is a disaster. But you talk about succeeding while failing. And part of it is her looks. She was hired because of her looks. She is what, quote unquote, attractive within the comic book industry. And that's how she got her job. People can talk about that all they want, but really, to see these companies hire a person like this is only meant for one purpose, and that's to destroy. There are people within these industries they want to get rid of. They want to break up the relationship between the consumer and the producer, and they hire her. And since this is a small industry, this is not a big industry. It's sort of, it's on the fringes of society in a lot of ways. This is just a way for them to do this sort of practice on the overall, and we're seeing this in our country. People being hired like this that are very destructive. We saw this with the Bud Light situation where they hired Dylan Mulvaney to be like an influencer. Meanwhile, most of the people that he influences are babies, are little kids on his Instagram and online. But you let me know what you think about this video. It's very different. We will have fun here. I had some little jokes in there. I hit Alan. Well, that guy needs a makeover. You talk about a make. They should have like a makeover for these comic book creators. Some of them. Oh boy, can you imagine that? Oh boy. Well, you let me know what you think about this video, and there will be more videos. If you want to watch this stuff, I will give you all kinds of stuff here. And we're still going to go to that future comic book shop. I'm going to be Sunday, but it'll be someday. This video about Heather Antos, I thought was a little more in line with what I want to do. So, thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to the Comic Book Hut. Thank you, and I'll see you later.